Fender Play guys, I'm your host Scott Goldbaum. It's great to be back, and today we're talking about another genre crash course, and this time we're looking at reggae. Now we're going to be showing you some techniques to help you play reggae, as well as some talking about some artists and songs on Play that you can learn from right now. We're also giving away some gear as always, so stick around later on. Now to help me out, please welcome my friend, the bass aficionado himself, the one and only Pete Griffin.
Thank you so much for having me. And welcome back, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, man. Good to be back.
Yeah.
Now, Pete's a bass player, for those of you who don't know, who's played with a wide range of artists. We're talking, you've got Zappa plays Zappa, Hanson, my personal favorite, Death Clock. I know you're working with Generation Axe, which is a myriad of shredders. And he's one of your Fender Play instructors, too. So, Pete, how are you, man?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. This is awesome. And I'm loving that you brought me in for this specific thing, because even though I do all this rock stuff, I have a deep, deep appreciation of reggae.
I think that's my favorite thing about a musician is that they're genre bending. That you're able to appreciate, not just be a practitioner of multitudes of categories of music, but you're really a listener. So how did you come to appreciate the genre that is reggae?
Well, it came from, as I was falling in love with bass, I wanted to see the extent of what it could do, and I was reading stuff like Bassfire magazine and stuff, but also just checking out new types of music. And I realized when I stumbled upon reggae, I don't even remember the first reggae song I heard or anything like that. It's always been around.
Yeah, sure.
But I noticed that the bass played a much more prominent role than it does in, like, say, just a 4-chord rock song.
Right.
Like there's a melody in each bass line in
Right.
most reggae tunes, and that really appealed to me, kind of like what we talked about with the funk episode.
Absolutely. There's a reason you're back for this. When this instrument is often carrying the song in the foreground,
Right.
You're the guy we turn to more often than not.
Right, yeah.
So it's great to have you, man. In fact, what are you playing at the moment? I know you've got some pretty cool
This is
new
one
stuff
of the
in this.
beautiful new American ultra jazz bass, and this is aged natural, and it is quite a fine bass. I did the demo for the YouTube, and that one was awesome, and this is a different model of it, and it's also awesome.
Awesome.
What do
man.
you got?
Well, right now I'm playing within the same line. I've got that American Ultra Strat, and it's an Arctic Pearl. This is really gorgeous. I don't know if you guys can see this with the light hitting it. Yeah, it's super subtle, but really nice. And I'm going through a Tone Master reverb. Now, guys, on Fender Play, we've got a lot of songs, a lot of styles to choose from, so you can always jump around different genres. Now, this show, we cover a lot of rock and roll, a lot of country, but one great genre to learn for guitar and bass players out there is, in fact, reggae. Before we get into it, we're going to play a song. No better way to start off with this one. It's Bob Marley, and it's Waiting in Vain. So here we go.
Let's do it.
Here it comes. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, time I blessed my eyes on you, girl. My heart says follow through, but I know now that I'm way down on your line. But the wait and feel is fine. Yeah, I don't wanna wait in vain for your love. I don't want to wait in vain for your love. I don't want to wait in vain for your love. 'Cause if summer is here, oh, I'm still waiting here. Winter is here, and I'm still waiting there. Yeah. Almost a little jazzy.
Yeah.
Now, guys, you're hearing us jam this. The reality is that that's a super easy entrance song to the genre of reggae for you beginners out there wanting to get into it. For the majority of what you just heard, the vast majority of the chorus, all through the intro and the verse, I'm playing 2 chords. So it's a real challenge to try to tackle that solo, but as you guys are entering into it, try out those 2 chords, and you can learn that again right away.
Song,
yeah.
Totally.
And then when it comes to that bass line, that's pretty groovy, though.
Yeah, and it's I mean, just the slight variations on it, where the verse is the simpler version, and then the chorus has the, and we're hitting the major seventh and a bass line, which you don't hear very often. So that's maybe where you're getting that jazzy,
feel, yeah. And it's cool. Like, we're going to be doing a deeper dive into all things reggae today, but that's a cross-genre song. I know Annie Lennox did a real popular cover of that song. That sounds gorgeous. So anyway, there's a little bit of that. But Pete, how would you say reggae as a genre is defined?
It's hard to say. I mean, it obviously originated in Jamaica in the 60s, combined elements of jazz and R&B and calypso and island music and ska, and rocksteady is really like where the beginning of reggae started with that. And it came from just people playing in clubs and outdoor parties and big sound systems and stuff. And then it, like Bob Marley and some of these other artists, helped it bring it to the rest of the world. And now it's hard to hear pop music without hearing the influence of a lot of reggae and all that stuff. And it's amazing because it's just a tiny little island nation that reached the world with this very unique music.
That's so cool, man. And you know, we talk a lot about when we do these tribute shows or kind of like deep dives or even just introductions to the genre. We give a lot of we talk about the legacy artists who were pioneers. So who are some of them, but also who are some of the people who are carrying that torch today, who you're hip to?
Yeah, well, Bob Marley, obviously. Toots and the Maytals, Peter Tosh, Jimmy Cliff. Steel Pulse is an incredible band. We just did a Israel Vibration song. There's tons of them, and they all have kind of stuck to this very specific thing. I know Steel Pulse is still touring.
Yeah, a lot of them are still touring.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Burning Spear is another one. Yeah, there's entire reggae festivals, and there's enough variation within that's not it's not redundant.
Not at all.
But then there's newer artists. There's one that I'm obsessed with named Coffee. We spell it with a K.
Nice.
She's this girl out of Jamaica, and it's
cool.
It's very much reggae, but it's very, very modern. Like there's definitely a modern hip hop element to it, and a lot of even electronica stuff. And it's a 15-minute EP that has more amazing ideas on it than I've heard in years.
Wow.
There's this band that I'm a big fan of called Dub Trio, where they kind of smash reggae and metal together.
Yeah, you would love that.
Yeah. And it seems like those two things wouldn't work, but the way they do it, there's some common ground here. And it's like what you said before about sticking to one genre and all that stuff. That's cool if that's what speaks to you.
Sure.
But ultimately, it's all the same 12 notes. It's all rhythm. It's all, there's so much crossover that to be that narrow-minded and never even just try to check out something that you wouldn't normally is going to be a detriment to you as a musician. You should be open to anything. Really.
Well, then musically speaking, what would you say are some central tenets or elements of reggae?
Well, just the interplay of all the instruments.
Yeah. You learn a lot about your role, right?
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about that before. Like a lot of the parts, like the bass line and they're kind of question and answer to each other.
Totally.
Or you double what I'm doing for a little bit.
That stuck line where I'm following, I'm typically palm muting. And we'll dive deeper into the techniques themselves. In fact, we're gonna be breaking down these techniques we just discussed a bit later in the episode. But first, how about we jump into some Fender Play Live engagement? We're gonna ask you guys some questions throughout the show. Drop your answer in the comments, and if you answer correctly first, you get the wonderful prize, the awe-inspiring prize of a shout out from us.
Okay.
And Pete, what's the first trivia question for this week?
This one, I will admit, I did not know. One of Bob Marley's first recordings was a song called One Cup of Coffee, which was released under which pseudonym? Apparently it wasn't Bob Marley.
All right, so he didn't go as Bob Marley, or didn't release it as Bob Marley at that point for One Cup of Coffee. Now, while you get your answers in, let's play another great reggae tune that you can learn on Fender Play. That's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner by Black Uhuru. We're gonna take that from the top and I'll count us in.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. hear a lot of that interplay, huh?
Right. Yeah, we're hardly ever playing at the same time.
Right.
And that's kind of amazing. And it's also, we'll get into the tone of stuff too, but it's everybody leaves space for each other.
Yeah, both in
a reggae
as you say
thing.
the tone, like both in frequencies
Yeah, but
and in
even just
actual
note
space.
choice. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, jumping right into the bass tone, we made reference a moment ago to how last time the two of us were here, we were talking about funk. And right off the bat, for those of you who are watching and learned a lot about how to dial in your bass tone for funk, we're going to do the exact opposite here, right?
Pretty much in terms of that, like with some funk stuff and even with more rock and in general, a lot of stuff I do, there's a lot more of the clank on the sound.
Yeah,
with reggae, you want it really kind of mellow. I actually saw Family Man Barrett, who played bass for Bob Marley, do an interview right here in town for the Bass Player Live, and he mentioned that he was trying to sound like an acoustic bass. So he used a jazz bass and he rolled the tone knob all the way down, which is what I've done with this. This is an active bass, so I rolled my treble all the way down. And that kind of gives it this really kind of more muted thing, as opposed to...
Wow, yeah, there's your contrast.
And I'm playing a little harder too, but still, that just sounds wrong.
Right,
in terms of a reggae thing. Yeah, exactly, because then your brighter tone mixes well with it, and the sound guy doesn't have to do too much to these tones to get them to blend together.
Dude, I love dissecting some of those hidden variables. Like, I've heard this a lot from reggae artists, that even though a lot of it takes place on electric instruments, they're kind of trying to simulate acoustic instruments.
Right.
That's a really, really cool part there. When it comes to guitar for reggae, there's not really like a classic reggae guitar, say like what a telly might be to the country music genre. But you see Bob Marley playing a Strat in the video for Stir It Up. Ziggy plays Strats and tellies often. It's usually just that pretty clean tone. No distortion. You'll have a little bit of like slight reverb. That cuts through really nicely when I'm doing those palm muted or percussive strums. And sometimes you'll even hear a lot of like delay featured, and that's usually pretty intentional. And to get that nice percussive tone, you're gonna want more of a trebly sound in my experience. In this case, on this guitar, I've actually got it currently set in the neck pickup, and I like it a lot. I just feel like it's blending really nicely with your bass setup.
Definitely.
Now, guys, we got a trivia winner, it looks like, from our first question. Again, quick reminder, the question was, what pseudonym did Bob Marley use for one of his early recordings, One Cup of Coffee? And I'm going to let you reveal the correct answer and who gets our shout out for getting it right.
He released it under the name Bobby Martell.
Bobby Martell.
And the shout out is to Richard Mowry for getting it right.
Nice job, Richard.
Good job, Richard.
Way to beat us to the punch. Cool.
Yeah, really.
How about we give him another one?
Cool, let's do it.
What's trivia number 2 for today?
The Bob Marley song Exodus, which was from the album that was Time Magazine named as the best album of the century, for last century. Bob Marley's song Exodus became a #1 hit in Jamaica, the UK, and one other country. What country was that?
All right, let's get those answers in, guys. Here's a quick question for Pete. All right, House 05. Pete, do you prefer a precision or jazz bass? We got you in here. It's always fun to ask you these types of questions. Thanks for that question.
It's a very interesting question. For years and years and years, when I was playing with Zappa and all this other stuff, I was a jazz bass player almost exclusively.
Whoa.
And then I got a P bass that belonged to a friend of mine who unfortunately had passed away. But I started playing it, and I realized the way it kind of dominates the low end really spoke to me. So now I'm playing more Ps and stuff like that.
Wow.
So you kind of can't go wrong with either one. But the jazz bass has a few more options of tones, but the P bass just sounds great right out of the box.
Awesome.
Under any circumstances, really.
So cool. So cool. Thanks for that question.
Yeah.
Keep them coming, guys.
Yeah.
Now, as we mentioned, we're playing some of the new Fender Ultra series guitars and basses, but there are a few other models out there. So let's take a quick look at some of the new models. We're going to break into the studio. Check it out, guys.
Awesome.
God, so good. I love that, Telly. Welcome back, you guys, for the full videos and rundowns on each new model. Make sure to check out those videos on Fender's YouTube channel. And you put your money where your mouth is. You're featured in that, playing that P-bass, man.
That P-bass, yeah, exactly.
Love that. Now, we also have another trivia winner. Now, the question again was, Bob Marley's song Exodus, off the same record, was a #1 hit in Jamaica, the UK, and what other country? Well, the correct answer was, of course, Germany. Big shout out to Patrick Kimball.
Great job,
Kimball.
Patrick.
I'll commit to Kimball.
There you go.
Hey, yeah, Patrick, nice job. Okay, cool. Let's do some more. We got another trivia one. Why don't you take this one?
Cool. Jimmy Cliff, another amazing classic reggae musician that we maybe didn't mention before, is one of 2 living musicians to hold the Order of Merit from the Jamaican government for achievements in arts and sciences. Who's the other musician?
I know that these are all like just one Google search away, give or take, but I love it.
Yeah,
I want to find out.
You're still learning something.
I want to begin by knowing what the Order of Merit is.
Yeah, really.
But it sounds important. Now, guys, we're going to break down some more reggae guitar and bass techniques. First, let's jam on another tune that you can hear and learn on Fender Play right away. This is Cool and Calm from Israel Vibration. Here it comes.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3, 4. You never mean no trouble, you never do no harm, taking it cool and calm, and so we are guam, 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 guam. So cool, man.
Scott singing like an angel for you folks.
I'll take it from you, man. Guys, earlier we were talking about the rule, or rather the role of rhythm guitar in reggae. And while at first glance it might seem like it's easy to play, you're just playing on beats 2 and 4 of the measure, it actually is definitely not quite as simple as that. Again, kind of the antithesis of what you might think, or how you might think it relates to funk, for instance.
Right.
Funk we're talking about, and it's quick and staccato, don't get me wrong, but it's not limited to those triads or those 4 strings. It's really important. In fact, let me contrast this really quickly. You're gonna get a full chord strum, right? And I'm still doing those pulsing stops on beats 2 and 4. But let's compare and contrast that against just like a triad version of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Triad. And I hope you can hear the difference in texture. It's a pretty huge distinction, so take full advantage of that. And it takes a little bit of time to make that physical grasp, but you'll know it when you get it. Guitar, again, kind of antithetical to a lot of other genres and how this is utilized. It's a rhythm instrument. It's a member of the rhythm section in this genre, right? And same with its harmonic counterpart, the piano. They're both used in that capacity. And you can support yourself too. Don't feel like the only way you can play reggae or sing and play at the same time is with the help of a bass player. I'm gonna give you a quick little trick here. So we were talking about just the idea of strumming on beats 2 and 4, right? So say for that progression I was just doing, what I want you to try, if you're trying to compensate for the absence of a second player with you, what I want you to try, instead of just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I want you to try to hit the root note of that chord on beat 1, the first time around, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try that on that A minor chord even, you have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna help fill out the chords. If I'm going like 1, standing on the corner. Just a little bit. That's kind of implying the bass's presence even though you're without it. So whether you're playing bar chords or open chords, it's kind of a little tip and trick there. And more than anything, we're gonna go back, this is common to both instruments, palm muting, really deadening that sound. In fact, I'm gonna pivot over to you when it comes to some bass techniques. I'll let you take it from there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's in the same way with the tone. Like you can get a reggae tone just by where you move your hand on where you're plucking. Because back here, it's a little too mid-rangey. That's a little better for jazz or rock and stuff like that. You kind of want to get it even over the front pickup or even closer to the neck.
Yeah.
And you get that kind of big tubby tone.
Yeah, man.
And it even like subtracts a little bit of the attack from it, which is really the sound that you're going for. It's really warm and just kind of shakes the room a little bit without having too much of the point on it. And then, or you can do the palm muting thing and play with your thumb. And what you were saying before, and the reason these things all work together so well, is we're all playing very short notes, ultimately.
Yeah, right.
And so when the longer notes happen, they have more impact.
Right.
But it leaves space for everybody to kind of exist in the groove and in the mix and all that. And that's super, super important to just be listening to each other. And this music really helps you learn how to play with a band.
Yeah.
And understand your role amongst those 4 or 5 people that you're on stage with.
And at the same time, it's somewhat counterintuitive to us as teachers.
Right.
Where, dropping the 1, for instance, right? I'll let you elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like when you first learn how to play bass, you learn to play the root note on beat 1 while the guitar plays it. On this stuff, like on that last one, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Like a lot of times you don't play on beat 1, which makes it harder for a guitar player who's trying to do 2 and 4. If you're not hearing 1, that might be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing to kind of wrap your head around because it might sound backwards.
Totally.
Almost.
Totally. And we'll get to assigning you guys some homework. If you're coming from day 1 with this, we'll give you some examples of what you can do to start feeling like you're a good candidate to jump in with this. Hey, we've got a final trivia winner from today. All right, so one more time, I'll let you repeat the question.
Jimmy Cliff is one of 2 living musicians to hold the Order of Merit from the Jamaican government for achievements in arts and sciences. Who is the other musician?
Okay, let's find out.
The answer, of course, is Bunny Wailer. And our winner is Stanley Morales.
Nice.
Great job, Stanley.
Good on you, Stanley. Yeah, a whaler. Now, on that note, how about we do one more tune before we go? We just can't do a show on reggae and leave it to just one Bob Marley and the Wailers song.
Right.
On our Fender Play platform, guys, we've got about 5 of those there. So let's end on a great one. We'll do One Love in B flat.
Beautiful.
Cool. I'll count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. I'm gonna give it away. I heard some harmony in the room, and I got excited. We'll reveal who that person singing harmony was coming up pretty fast.
It's amazing how everybody knows these songs.
Yeah, man, it's just instinctual. I don't even know that he knew he was singing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, great.
I wanted to be singing it.
Dylan, giving it away, Dylan. Hey, and including Dylan, you and I have been doing a lot of the work here, guys. It's your time now. We're going to challenge you with some homework for this week. So, for our beginners, this may seem simplified, but it is so essential. Practice strumming either an open chord. To be honest, this could be a 3-string chord if that's where you're starting from, or a bar chord on beats 2 and 4. Just try counting and playing, saying and playing. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. If you want to make it more advanced, try switching between bar chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use the bar finger to deaden the sound as you make that transition. 1, 2, 3, 4. So since we're representing guitar and bass today, that's for our beginning guitarists, but how about our beginning bassists?
Yeah, same with bass, because like I said before, we're so used to playing on beat 1. Let's try to not do that.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens and just do the same thing. Just play a low G on 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and really think about how you're not playing on beat 1 and you are playing on beat 2, and just kind of leave the space in between.
Awesome. Yeah, and for our intermediate players, check out the song Waiting in Vain that we've been jamming all day. Play the rhythm chords to that. That's a really great starting point. Not too much. There's a couple changes, but it's gonna give you a nice little crash course into the genre. How about our bassist?
For bass, just play, it's a gorgeous bass line that uses that major 7th that I mentioned. So just try playing it even at half speed of just, and just kind of getting the accuracy of it, and then maybe bring it up. If you're going to do it for an advanced one, try playing it at full speed then.
Yeah.
What would you do for guitar?
Well, if you're doing advanced, just go ahead and just try taking on that solo. Super melodic. It's in service to the song. It's not turning the song into a template for virtuosic playing. It's a beautiful solo, and it's a really nice challenge. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous melody, and it's loaded with techniques. Pete, we always love having you come on these crash courses.
I love coming here.
Hosted a bunch. You're a massive ally to our Fender family here. So we got Dylan coming up in a little bit to let us know what's going on in the community and to harmonize more with anything that comes out of my mouth and everything new on the site. But first, we always love asking our favorite people, what's forthcoming? It doesn't seem like much reggae, but you've got a busy schedule.
It's unfortunately not any reggae, but yeah, the next month is pretty crazy for me. Next Friday, I'm playing with Death Clock for the Adult Swim show for the first time in like 8 years, and I'm super excited for that. And then right after that, I go to Japan with Generation Axe with that whole nonsense.
I'll let you remind us. Yes, I was going to say who's
Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, Zach Wilde, Nuno Betancourt, and Tosin Abasi, and I have to cover all of their music in a 3.5-hour show, and it's actually really, really fun. It sounds like it would be monotonous, but all those guys have such different styles that it becomes this really cool show that I'm very proud to be a part of.
Well, from one touring musician to another, make sure you get enough rest. It's always great seeing you, man. Thank you so much for coming through. One more time for the great Pete Griffin. Now, next up, we're going to be checking in with the community, our community guru, Dylan, to tell us what's new in our community and on the site. A lot of announcements there. And of course, announcing the winner of this week's gear giveaway. But first, if you really want to master the reggae techniques, then you should know that we've put together a playlist of skills and song lessons from Fender Play to help you out. I love that we're doing that. That seems to be new since I've come back, and I love that. So check out the link in the comments for more info. In the meantime, please welcome our main man, Dylan.
Hello.
What's
good
up,
afternoon,
brother?
good evening, good evening.
A high five to you.
Unauthorized harmonies here.
Not coming out of your mouth. It was like filtered through auto-tune. I heard an angel in the corner. What are you playing, by the way?
Yeah. I don't want to just.
Yeah.
So this is the American Ultra Telly, and it's the Texas T color. And I don't know if you can catch this on cam, but there is definitely a sparkle going on this guy.
Love that.
And this is the most excited I've gotten, or I've been about a guitar in a while.
I saw you outside jamming on it on the white wall.
They were like, we need to, okay, I'll be there eventually.
Yeah.
So this thing, it's like a tone machine, but the main thing is just the feel. If you've got to get to a store and check out one of these D-necks. It's
Yeah, I haven't looked back at the teleprompter in like 10 seconds.
Right.
I don't know what I'm supposed to prompt you to do.
Because the sparkle's getting to you.
No, because I know the fluidity with which you play this. I open up on it. Let me play a
let's see.
bit.
So we've got we can do. And the key of A. So.
Hey, that woo wasn't to signify that you should stop, but as a quick reminder, every week on Fender Play Live, we give away a free piece of gear to a Fender Play subscriber just for hitting their weekly practice streak. What is a streak, you might ask? Well, a Fender Play streak is when you practice 3 times a week for 7 minutes each time or more, but 7 minutes is that minimum that we're trying to hit. Now, hitting your streak each week is a great way to make faster progress in your legitimate learning and building muscle memory, which is when you and I are just doing that.
Right.
We're not thinking about it anymore. It's
second nature.
Found its way into our fingertips.
Right.
And even more incentivizing, it qualifies you to win substantial gear from us. I say this every so often. I didn't know the extent of the prizes for a long time, but we're talking about you're eligible for what? We got like Strats, Tellies, all the offsets, basses, amps, all just for practicing. I used to give gold stickers, and now we're giving away gear. So anyway, that goes to say, the best part is the more consecutive streaks that you hit, the more chances you have to win, and it's announced right here on Fender Play Live.
Yes.
So without further ado, as always, you get to be the bearer of great news to a special someone.
Tough job.
Dylan, who is this week's lucky winner?
Commotion, please. Give me some noises in the background. Brent K.
Brent K.
K.
Congrats, Brent.
Congratulations, Brent K.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Brilliant. Now, for more info on the new giveaway rules, check out the link in the description. Not a lot of fine print, just in case you guys have any specific questions. We want to make sure that you guys are candidates to win. And in the meantime, Brent, congrats to you. Okay, so what's been going on in the community this last week, man?
Well, thanks for asking, Scott. And the community is rocking as usual. For those of you that don't know, it's a spot once you've joined Fender Play. You can come on in this Facebook community. We're 15,000 strong, and it's a super supportive place to work through the program and just for your overall new guitar experience to sort of explore that together. And we talked a lot about it every episode. There's two people I want to name today, though. Eileen D, who just started playing bass not that long ago on Fender Play. 6 months ago, I believe, and she is now requesting a reggae pass.
There you go.
But also, she did her first public performance recently, and she killed it.
Wow.
So Eileen, I don't know what to say.
That's incredible. I say it all the time. There's no better way than to just throw yourself in there. Oftentimes I'll say, like, perform even in front of forgiving audiences.
Yeah.
You know, like, get into the open mics, find platforms or public opportunities to do that, and to do that within 6 months of playing is
absolutely
great.
Yeah, trial by fire.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely.
So Isabel Machado is a favorite of the community, and she's always putting up like incredible material. And this week, her and a friend had a ukulele in a park somewhere. A train came by during the performance, and they still persevered. So Isabel, you're rocking it, and thank you so much for posting that video. There's a ton of buzz about that in the community. So.
Well, you are so encouraging. And I don't think you need the forthcoming accolade, but we just had a comment from Derek Hartley that and I attest to this as well, we need at least a half hour of you just playing.
Oh no, you'll be sick of it in 3 minutes. Don't
That's
worry.
not true. Play
okay,
some more.
Let's see here.
Leave them wanting more. Sorry,
right.
Derek. No, Derek, thank you for that. Yeah. All right, so we got some Fender Play updates too. You want to tell us what's newsworthy as far as new offerings?
Yeah, so new tunes coming up on the site every week. New skills, new tunes, new content. Always be searching for terms. If you're looking to explode your knowledge of anything, search for it. I'm sure it's on there. A great new song that's on there is Paralyzer. This is like a really hot tune that happened, I think maybe 2006, 2007.
Cool.
And see if you can hear the joy in this. So I'm feeling paralyzed just by that a little bit. Maybe just a tiny bit. All right, and this is like a gauntlet of techniques. You got syncopated picking, alternate picking, hammer-ons, pull-offs, all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Now, this is one of those songs where if you can't tell this I didn't play it well, if you can't tell it right out of the gate. So let's see.
There it is.
So that is obviously Tie the Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak. No, it's Hurt So Good, John Mellencamp. Yeah, so that's new on the site.
I feel like you can interject John Mellencamp into any social setting. Like most of the time when I want to walk into a room, I want it to be accompanied by Mellencamp.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Anyway.
Mellencamp. And you just walk right in. Of course, it works for me.
That was great, man.
You've got syncopated strumming, double stops, chord anticipation. Now, since Scott teaches this lesson, I'd like him to play this song.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
well,
breaking form, but can I do this, judges? Okay.
No, you can't. I don't remember how I taught
Okay,
this.
so it's
I don't want to like lose the veil.
Lola by the Kinks. Yeah, and the last chord is maybe floppy in terms of
Yeah, really add that add 9. That's
I don't think that. I might get a ticket for that. But anyways, tons of new stuff. There's 3 of them. Check them out.
Awesome, man. This was such a fun episode. It's always so good to have you come through and kind of put a button on everything. So thank you hugely to Dylan. Massive thank you to our main man, Pete Griffin, for coming out today.
Seriously.
Guys, stay tuned next week. We have a very special guest, very special episode. We're going to be giving away some extra gear next week, so definitely make it an episode not to miss. In the meantime, let's keep doing what we always do in tradition. Keep practicing. We will see you next time. See you later. Bye on that G chord.
Make it happen.